This is episode 703. I'm Greg Swanson. Today we're going to be talking about how to think like Genghis Khan. So with the concept of a warrior, right? So warrior mind coach, that's me. The warrior is actually an archetype. And what I thought would be fun to do is sporadically, spontaneously, talk about different warriors in history. We're not going to go over the history. This is not going to be a History Channel review of Genghis Khan or other ones that come up. But what I wanted to do is look at Genghis Khan as the warrior and then what aspects of that warriorism, if you will, that we can use in our own life. Because we can learn from everybody out there, but we want to take these warriors that may appear larger than life and see what behaviors, what attitudes, what beliefs that we can take from them to help us in achieving our goals in life as well. But we are going to go for a little bit of a background. So Genghis Khan was the founder of the Mongol Empire, which is the largest contiguous empire in history, bigger than Rome. And so I'm not going to go into a lot of history here, but think about that, the largest empire in history. So he had some significant qualities to him. You know, rising from a humble and often hostile beginnings in the harsh Mongolian steppe, which is, you know, Mongolia is just really a nasty place to grow up. Genghis Khan united warring tribes into a unified force, establishing a legacy of unparalleled adaptability, leadership, and strategic genius. So you think about it, you had all these nomad tribes that were scattered all over Mongolia and probably into China and Russia and other areas before those countries were developed. And he went there, and through his childhood, he learned how to, and through his adulthood, he learned how to communicate and rally these tribes together because he had a vision and he wanted to share that with the tribes, and the tribes liked it, right? So his warrior mindset offers timeless lessons for overcoming adversity, building unstoppable momentum, and leading with vision and pragmatism. So the first principle of Genghis Khan is this relentless adaptability. In NLP, we call it behavioral flexibility. But Genghis Khan thrived because of his ability to adapt to any situation, environment, or opponent, whether confronting harsh weather, unfamiliar terrain, or changing battle tactics. He taught his warriors to adjust quickly and turn disadvantages into opportunities. So what we can take a lesson from this is true warriors remain flexible, right? It's that behavioral flexibility. We're not fixed on one path, on one way. They don't resist changing. They embrace it as a tool for growth and dominance. So let's look at how we can apply that to our life, right? In life or business, cultivating the ability to pivot when circumstances change. Challenges are opportunities to innovate and grow stronger. So when we have a challenge, this is essentially what grit is about, is we have a goal, we hit an obstacle, we have the grit to move around it, but then, or over it or through it, but then as we overcome this challenge, we learn things, we have innovations for more opportunities that come up. So these challenges really are a blessing because they push us out of our comfort zone. And when we get pushed out of our comfort zone, we have learnings as to how to deal with it and how to deal with other ones as well. So united through a vision. Before Genghis Khan, the Mongol tribes were fragmented, often at war with one another. Khan, not Khan from Star Trek Khan, but Genghis Khan united these tribes under a shared vision and purpose, creating a stronger, united force that could actually dominate external enemies. He prioritized loyalty over boldness, promoting warriors based on merit, not status. So let's take a look at this lesson. You know, it's a powerful Vision can unite even the most divided teams or individuals. Mediocrity and shared purpose foster loyalty and growth. I mean, if you look at uh, football teams, if the coach has a great vision of where that team is supposed to go, the players will step up and they'll do whatever it takes. They won't be selfish. A wide receiver will be a running back. A tight end will be a lineman. A linebacker will be a safety, whatever you want to call it. When the vision is there, the people will unite about it. And this one is so powerful with Genghis Khan because, think about having to get these different tribes together and getting peace because these tribes were warring against each other. And then Genghis Khan comes along and has this vision and talks to them, and they all buy into that vision and they all come together underneath his leadership. So as a leader, focus on building a team or network united by a common goal. Promote based on talent and hard work, not politics or favoritism. So even if you're not in that leadership role, somewhere in life you are a leader, whether it's your family, your friends, or at work. And when you can have a great vision of where you're going. So here's what's interesting is if you have a vision for your life, and you get excited about it, and you share it with the right people, they will rally behind you and help you. So this is part of the tribe, right? But if you share it with the wrong people, they won't. Genghis Khan shared it with his same countrymen, if you will. And so that shared vision helped them unite and move forward. So psychological warfare. Genghis Khan understood that battles are won in the mind before the battlefield. He spread fear and misinformation, sounds familiar, often exaggerating the size of his armies or his brutality to make enemies surrender without a fight. At the same time, he was fair to those who yielded, building trust and loyalty. Hey, it sounds like the presidential race, doesn't it? That all of these things were going on, a little bit of exaggeration. Well, nowadays, this propaganda and spinning of information has become so prevalent that we become immune to it. We just think everything is an over-exaggeration. But in Genghis Khan's time, they didn't have this instance, so he had to let rumors fly, and he would have people that would run to his enemy's tribe and promote these rumors of massive amounts of tribes and what would happen to them if they resisted. And so when Kong's army came, they just, okay, fine, we give up. We'll be part of your army now. And so it's like the Borg, right? Now we're back to Star Trek, so like the Borg. And he just assimilates all these tribes. So what's the lesson here is when control the narrative, stay strategic, and maintain a psychological edge over challenges. So you want to be the narrative. You want to explain, hey, this is going to be difficult, but I'm going to do it. You want to stay strategic, right? So this narrative, you could almost think of as self-talk, because again, battles are won in the mind before the battlefield. And whether it's a battle of going to the gym, whether it's a battle of shoveling your driveway or a battle of presenting to a customer, this is all won in the mind before you get there. So let's look at it. In personal or professional life, project confidence and remain calm under pressure. Know when to negotiate and when to dominate, right? This is that yin and yang. We want to negotiate to get an equal fair, so it's a win-win, but we need to dominate when the other party may be asking too much. So it's this back and forth, but it's all one in the mind before the battlefield. So also we want to look at focusing on continuous learning and innovation. Genghis Khan was not just a conqueror, he was a student of warfare and leadership. He absorbed knowledge from other cultures and adopted new technologies and strategies such as siege warfare from the Chinese and efficient communication networks, the YAM system, to coordinate his armies. He didn't just stay, and this goes to the behavioral flexibility, right, or fixed mindset. Just because he did it one way doesn't mean it's going to work all the time. He had a very big growth mindset by taking in what works and disregard the others. So he would adapt, he would change, he would take those cultures, again, like the Borg, and make his leadership and make his warfare, make his strategies that much better because he adapted what was useful. So here's the lesson, right? Is a warrior mindset requires humility, an insatiable hunger to learn. Growth never stops. And this is that growth mindset that Carol Dweck talks about, is always learning. When you say the three most deadly words, I know that, you are putting yourself in a corner and setting yourself up for failure, regardless if it's anything. You may be familiar with it, but you don't know it. So here's a modern application is stay curious, study competitors, explore new tools, and embrace a mindset of lifelong learning to stay ahead. Again, that can be personal, professional, relationship, right? We want to stay curious about how is it I can get different results. Watch competitors, if you will, or people who have achieved what you want and see how they think, see what they do. You know, there's a lot of new tools out there, especially with AI and other things. Explore it, look at it, see how it can be curious about how it can help you, how you can leverage it to get to your goals. So, and then the fifth one is decisive action and execution. Genghis Khan did not hesitate when it came to executing his strategies. Once a decision was made, he acted with full force and clarity. His armies moved swiftly and decisively, overwhelming opponents before they could react. So indecision is the enemy of progress. Once you commit to a goal, act with full intensity. So once you make a decision, there was once a quote, and I forgot where it came from, but a leader, once a leader has majority of the information, he makes the right decision. And if it's not, he makes that decision right. So what it means is that you go for it. You made the decision. It may look like it's the wrong one, but you keep moving and have behavioral flexibility so that decision, which may have looked bad once you start taking action, is now the best decision you can make. So once you commit to a goal, you have to act with full intensity. And this is what happens with a lot of people, especially now, setting goals. They'll set a goal, they'll try to go for it, and they go, well, I'll give it a shot, and they don't do it. They're not even full intensity. They haven't even committed to it. It's kind of like, yeah, I'll give it a shot and see what happens. That's not what how warriors think. That's not what warriors do. The warrior archetype is about taking immediate action and with full intensity. So when facing your goals or challenges, avoid paralysis by analysis, make calculated decisions, and execute with focus and precision. These are all great principles, mindset principles that Genghis Khan embodied. And then we have reliance in the face of adversity. You know, Genghis Khan's early life was marked by hardship, right? Betrayal, abandonment, and survival against the elements. And you can imagine in Mongolia what those elements were like. You know, these experiences shaped his iron will and taught him that resilience and endurance are the foundations for strength. He turned his struggles into fuel. How many other people have you read about that have these horrible lives, but they come out of it the other end stronger? Well, this is one of the things that Genghis Khan embodied perfectly. You know, adversity is not a roadblock. It's actually the training ground for a stronger mindset. And, you know, as a society, we don't like resistance. We don't like roadblocks. We don't like challenges. Oh, life should be easy. No, who said? Yeah, law of attraction's there, but also law of attraction never said that you're not going to hit obstacles. So when you wake up and charge the day, you don't have to expect obstacles, meaning create them yourself, but you can be intentional about when something happens, how you're going to take action. The Stoics would do this. They would wake up in the morning if they had some important tasks to run or projects to do. They would go through their mind saying, if this happens, I'll do this. If this happens, I'll do this. So they're not worrying. Worrying goes, oh my gosh, what if this happens? But adversity and training grounds for a stronger mindset is, if this happens, then I'll do this. And this is what Khan did, and this is what the Stoics did as well. You know, when life challenges you, reframe hardships as opportunities. This is just not Pollyanna rose-colored glasses. These are really opportunities to build your resilience. Like Genghis Khan, you struggle to forge unshakable strength. I mean, you think about it. If you were going out and you had a challenge with maybe a creditor, or you had a challenge with your weight, or had a challenge with your boss, whatever, and you said, "Man, this is going to make a great story when I get through it." Attack those challenges with that type of attitude, that this is going to make a great story when I get through it. You'll build your resistance, you'll build your grit, and you'll go through it, and then you will have grown stronger because of that. So here are ways to apply Genghis Khan's principles of adaptability and leadership to modern life, right? We want to set a clear vision. We want to know exactly where we're going today, this week, this month, this year. We want to learn to adapt quickly. As we're traveling along the path, something comes in our way, we pivot immediately. We don't sit there and stop and wonder, should we turn around? Is it worth it? We just adapt. We pivot and move on. We lead with merit. We lead with our virtues, and we lead by our skills, not by our politics. And balance fear and respect, right? We can be respectful of things, and we can be fearful, but we want to balance those two. Respect, we can move forward. Fear, we may not, but we want to balance those two. And then act decisively. Once you know what you're going to do it. And then embrace learning and innovation, such as listening to this podcast, other podcasts, books, seminars, videos. And then turn hardships into strength. When you can look at every hardship and going, man, I'm going to get stronger because of this. There's a blessing here. Something great's about to happen. Great phrase. Something great is about to happen. So here's some final thoughts from a modern warrior quote, which is inspired by Genghis Khan. A true warrior does not conquer to destroy, but to build a legacy of strength, unity, and progress. Adapt, lead, and rise no matter how the world tries to break you. So if you like this podcast and want to see the show notes, which are more extensive than this podcast, please visit warriormindcoach.com. While you're over there, you can get some more useful information in the way of podcast and blog post. And since you'll be on the internet, please follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, all under Warrior Mind Coach.